He killed without a trace, leaving behind no evidence, no witnesses and no clues for the authorities to follow. Richard Kuklinski, known as the Iceman, was a notorious mob hitman responsible for over 100 murders from the 1950s to the 1980s. His reputation for ruthlessness and efficiency made him a feared figure in the criminal underworld. His chilling methods often involved freezing his victims to hide the time of death, a tactic that baffled investigators and delayed justice for years. Kuklinski was married and had 3 children, living a double life while working for the Gambino crime family. To his neighbors, he was a devoted family man, but in reality he was a cold-blooded killer. He was arrested in 1986 and received multiple life sentences without the possibility of parole. His capture marked the end of a reign of terror that had spanned decades. During his interviews, he confessed to heinous acts and revealed that murder felt like a job to him. He spoke with a chilling detachment, describing his crimes as if they were mere tasks on a to-do list. His life and actions remain a shocking part of criminal history, a dark chapter that continues to fascinate and horrify. Kuklinski's reign of terror spanned decades, leaving a trail of fear and death in his wake. He was a phantom, moving silently in the shadows, always one step ahead of the law. His victims, often low-level criminals and informants, were mere obstacles in his path. To Kuklinski, they were expendable, their lives insignificant. He showed no remorse, no hesitation. His cold, calculating nature made him a perfect assassin. Death was his business, and business was good. He thrived in the shadows, where his true nature could remain hidden. The Iceman's methods were brutal, calculated and terrifyingly effective. He was a master of his craft, always seeking new ways to kill. He experimented with various methods of killing, always seeking to perfect his craft. From poisons to firearms, he was always looking for the most efficient way to eliminate his targets. He favored cyanide, a deadly poison that could be disguised in a variety of ways. It was his weapon of choice for its stealth and lethality. Guns were another tool of his trade, used for quick and efficient executions. He was proficient with firearms, ensuring his hits were clean and swift, but it was his use of freezing victims that earned him his chilling moniker. This method allowed him to obscure the time of death, making it nearly impossible for authorities to determine when the murders occurred. By storing bodies in industrial freezers, Kuklinski could obscure the time of death, making it nearly impossible for authorities to determine when the murders occurred. This tactic bought him time and kept investigators off his trail. The Iceman's motives were as cold as his methods. He killed for money, for power, and sometimes simply for the thrill of it. He killed for money, for power, and sometimes simply for the thrill of it. His actions were driven by a desire for control and dominance. He was a predator who saw his victims as nothing more than prey. His lack of empathy, his chilling detachment from human life, made him a truly terrifying figure. His lack of empathy, his chilling detachment from human life, made him a truly terrifying figure. The Iceman's legacy is a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind a seemingly ordinary facade. Richard Kuklinski was a master of death, a grim artist who used a variety of tools to carry out his gruesome work. His arsenal was as diverse as it was deadly, each weapon carefully chosen for its effectiveness and ability to leave investigators baffled. He was meticulous in his approach, always seeking to stay one step ahead of the law. Guns were his preferred method for quick and efficient kills, a single gunshot to the head, leaving no room for error. He favored silencers, ensuring his work remained silent and unseen. The Iceman was a ghost, leaving no trace but the chilling silence of death. Cyanide became a signature weapon, a silent and invisible killer. He experimented with different delivery methods, slipping it into food, drinks, even injecting it directly. The poison worked quickly, leaving victims with little time to react. Their deaths appeared natural, masking the true hand at play. Kuklinski's most chilling method, the one that earned him his nickname, was freezing his victims. He discovered that freezing a body could obscure the time of death, confusing forensic investigators. He rented storage lockers and industrial freezers, transforming them into macabre morgues where his victims awaited their final disposal. Each murder was a carefully orchestrated performance, a testament to Kuklinski's chilling pragmatism. He took pride in his work, seeing himself as a problem solver for those willing to pay his price. Behind the chilling facade of the Iceman, Richard Kuklinski lived a double life, one that was meticulously crafted and carefully maintained. To his family, he was a loving husband and doting father, always present and attentive. He lived a seemingly normal life in the suburbs of New Jersey, blending in perfectly with the community. His wife and children were completely unaware of the monster lurking beneath the surface, hidden behind his warm smile. He kept his two worlds separate, maintaining a facade of normalcy while carrying out his dark deeds in the shadows. Kuklinski's wife, Barbara, described him as a good provider and a devoted husband, never suspecting his true nature. He was present at family gatherings, played with his children, and seemed to enjoy the simple pleasures of life, like any other father. He was the life of the party, cracking jokes and entertaining those around him, making everyone believe he was just a regular guy. His neighbors knew him as a friendly face, someone who would lend a helping hand without hesitation. The contrast between Kuklinski's family life and his secret life was stark, almost unbelievable. He compartmentalized his existence, keeping his emotions in check and never revealing his true nature to his loved ones, not even for a moment. He justified his actions by claiming he was providing for his family, believing that his work, however gruesome, was a necessary evil. He convinced himself that his dark deeds allowed them to live a comfortable life, free from want or worry. The truth was far more complex, a tangled web of lies and deceit. Kuklinski enjoyed the power his double life afforded him, the thrill of living on the edge. He reveled in the control he had over others, both in his personal life and in his work as a hitman, finding a twisted satisfaction in his actions. The normalcy of his family life served as a twisted counterpoint to the darkness he carried within, a stark reminder of the duality of his existence. Section 4. Whispers in the shadows, informants and undercover work. The walls began to close in on Richard Kuklinski in the early 1980s. His reputation as a ruthless and efficient killer, whispered in hushed tones within the criminal underworld, attracted unwanted attention. Law enforcement agencies, aware of his activities but lacking concrete evidence, began to circle. The net was tightening, slowly but surely. Informants, fearing for their lives and hoping for leniency, started talking. They provided glimpses into Kuklinski's world, revealing details of his crimes and the extent of his involvement with organized crime. They spoke of his cold-blooded demeanor, his chilling lack of remorse, and the meticulous nature of his work. Undercover agents infiltrated Kuklinski's inner circle, posing as criminals seeking his deadly services. They recorded their conversations, capturing his chilling confessions and boasts about Section 5. The walls close in the Iceman's capture. The end came for Richard Kuklinski on a cold December morning in 1986. The air was crisp and the city was just beginning to wake up, unaware of the dramatic events about to unfold. After years of evading justice, his luck finally ran out. The man who had once seemed untouchable was now within the grasp of the law. A joint task force consisting of agents from the ATF and the New Jersey State Police finally had enough evidence to secure an arrest warrant. This was the result of meticulous planning and coordination. They moved swiftly, knowing that Kuklinski was a dangerous man who would not hesitate to use violence if he felt threatened. Every step was calculated to minimize risk and ensure a successful operation. The agents apprehended Kuklinski outside his home as he left for his daily routine. It was a moment of high tension, but their training and preparation paid off. He was caught completely off guard, his usual air of confidence replaced by a look of shock and disbelief. The man who had instilled fear in so many was now experiencing it himself. The arrest was swift and uneventful, the culmination of years of tireless work by dedicated law enforcement officers. Their perseverance had finally paid off. Inside Kuklinski's home, investigators discovered a cache of weapons, including handguns, silencers, and a variety of poisons. Each item was a testament to his life of crime. It was a chilling reminder of the dark side that Kuklinski had kept hidden from his family and neighbors for so long. The facade of normalcy he had maintained was shattered. The evidence against him was overwhelming, leaving no doubt about his guilt. Each piece of evidence painted a clearer picture of his heinous activities. With Kuklinski behind bars, the true extent of his crimes began to unravel. The stories that emerged were more horrifying than anyone had imagined. Prosecutors charged him with multiple counts of murder, racketeering, and weapons offences. The list of charges was extensive, reflecting the breadth of his criminal activities. The trial that followed would send shockwaves through the nation, exposing the dark underbelly of organised crime and the chilling reality of a cold-blooded killer hiding in plain sight. The public was both fascinated and horrified by the revelations.